We're going to look at the thesis generator and go through that process as a way to generate your thesis statement. You will find this in the file cabinet under thesis paper info, and it is the thesis generator. So you'll see all the titles of everything go right down the middle here. And you can view it and you can download it right here. I already have it downloaded into PDF Escape, which allows you to take PDFs and modify them. So you can type right in them. So if you don't want to print it out and handwrite it, you would rather do it on the computer, you can use PDF Escape to do that. And I can show you how to get to PDF Escape and how to do it. It's very easy. So this is the thesis generator page. It says that the task of this is to make connections between your chosen topic and the text, and your final so what should state your claim, what you feel are our society's rights and responsibilities toward your topic in general. So we're working to a really big, broad statement at the end that answers the question, so what? Because remember, that's the question I'm always going to be asking you over and over and over. So you'll see two parts to the rest of this sheet. The first part that you'll see is an example, and it's right here, and it's just the grid that I'm going to ask you to fill in, already filled in, so that you can see how it might work. And then underneath you have your actual grid that you've already given you a couple pieces of this this thesis generator. So, you know, this time is going to be a little bit different from when I then, you know, allow you to just completely free choice whatever it is that your paper is on and what your thesis statement is going to be. So a couple of these things I'm going to fill in for you right away. So the subject of your paper, of course, is 9/11 interviews, 9/11-2001 interview. Okay. And you're going to turn that subject into a guiding question. Now, there will be a time where we will have part 2 of this thesis generator video where I tell you how to work into a guiding question, but I've already given you a guiding question. It's the essential question on your interview instruction page. And the question is, how did the interviews... Sorry, I'm going to type and talk at the same time. Change or further develop your perceptions or understandings of 9/11. And you'll see that that just went right off the screen there. Okay. So I've already given you the question, but you'll just type it in here to give yourself a placeholder. And you're going to answer your question with a statement. Now, this does not have to be a formal statement. This is just to get your ideas down. So if I think about my interview that I conducted and the 2 interviews that I watched, and think about what I learned from those interviews, that will allow me to answer this question here. So what I learned from the interviews that I saw and watched was that many people were impacted by the events on 9/11. Okay. Well, so there it is. There's a statement that answers my question. But remember up here what I said about the final thesis statement, the final so what should state your claim about what you feel are our society's rights and responsibilities toward your topic in general. So the fact that a lot of people were impacted by it, while true, is not really a thesis statement. It does not really hit that so what. If you look at the example is about the integration of technology in our lives, and the question was, how does technology impact our lives? And the answer was that people are more dependent on technology. Well, we're at the same place. Yes, and so what? And so the statement that I came up with then, the thesis statement, was as society becomes more and more dependent on technology in order to function, people lose the ability to think for themselves. So the way to get from the box number 3 to box number 4 is to ask yourself the question, so what? People are more dependent on technology today than ever before, so what? Many people were impacted by the events on 9/11, so what? And my so what might be the events on 9/11 brought the country closer together, even though we are geographically far apart. And I could take it one step further. I mean, this is a working thesis statement, which means it doesn't have to be my final thesis statement, but I might even go ahead and develop a second working thesis statement along the same idea, just to play with some wording. The events on 9/11 showed that tragedy can pull a nation together. Either of those statements would work. Probably in my final draft of my paper, they're both going to be tweaked, but they definitely give me a starting place and a focus for my essay. So now I know that when I'm looking at writing my essay, and the support that I need from the interviews needs to be focused around bringing the country closer together, even though geographically we are far apart. So for this assignment, that is how to do the thesis generator. There will be a part 2, like I said, when we do our next paper, where you're not going to be given the first 2 pieces of this, so it will get a little more in depth, but that's how you do it for now. All right, that's it. Get going.